Hello and welcome to the first in our series of interviews with the candidates for the primary elections this year, 2012. Our first candidate today is Justin Marlowe. He is a candidate in the Democratic primary for prosecuting attorney. He currently serves as assistant prosecutor in Boone County and has done so for 6 years. A graduate of Richwood High School, he studied at Concord University and the Appalachian School of Law. He is soon to be married to Michelle Calvert. Justin, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Our first question, what made you decide to run for prosecuting attorney in Lincoln County?
Well, as you stated with your intro there, I've been an assistant prosecutor in Boone County now for coming up on 6 years. It'll be 6 years very soon. And while being an assistant prosecutor there, I've had an opportunity to be involved with every aspect of magistrate court, and I believe every aspect of circuit court, dealing with juveniles, adults, the alternative drug court programs, the juvenile court programs, community service programs, and a multitude of other things. A lot of those opportunities are available here in Lincoln County, and I think a lot of those are not being taken advantage of. Probably the most enjoyable part of my job as an assistant prosecutor right now is dealing with the kids. Now, whether that be kids that are in bad homes and getting the parents fixed, or getting the kids out, or whatever we need to do, or just kids that have issues that we try to treat and get help for to not allow them to go down the path of ended up being an adult and continuing to be in the court system. We do a lot of that in Boone, and I think we have a good success rate with it. It's something that I definitely think needs to happen more here in Lincoln County. I've got, since I've been going around talking to people, I've got a lot of positive response about that too from the community in general, especially anybody involved in the school system or anybody with children seems to think that's one of the big issues over here. So that would definitely be one of the main reasons. And you know, I've always heard, as I said, when I've been going around talking to people, that a lot of people believe that as soon as you get arrested, you go to the courthouse and you get bonded out, and you never see the inside of a jail cell. Well, while I understand that a lot of counties are struggling right now with their jail bills, because you know, as long as you're in a regional jail, not in a state facility, the county has to pay for you to be incarcerated there. So a lot of people aren't getting incarcerated out of that. Will eventually go to court, say magistrate court, end up with a fine, court costs, whatever, and then that's the ultimate disposition of their case. Well, that's fine for most people. They will go and pay their fines, pay their court costs, and be done with it. But a lot of people do not do that. The repercussions, according to state law, is your driver's license gets suspended, hunting license, fishing license, anything like that. Mm-hmm. Well, for a lot of those people, they don't have driver's license to begin with. So you go through the court process, you get arrested, you know, you go through the entire process, you end up with a fine and a court cost simply because the county can't afford to do anything else with you, and you just walk away never paying that. Well, I'm a big advocate for community service. I think that's the should be the answer in Lincoln County for those people. Mm-hmm. Several of those people could work it off, and I think the community would be very happy to see, instead of the magistrates only having the ability to slap them on the wrist of saying, well, you can work off this jail time or you can work off this fine with community service, by getting out in different parts of this community, picking up trash, sweeping streets, digging ditches, helping the municipalities, mm-hmm. helping the county, help make Lincoln County a better place. And that's something else that at this point, you know, it does happen some through the Day Report Center, through the adult drug court mm-hmm. program, but I think needs to be expanded greatly. Free labor is great labor, okay. especially when everybody's on a strict budget. Okay. So, and I think those are things that need to be happening here that just aren't to the extent that they need to be.
Okay.
So that's a couple of my main reasons.
Good enough. Our second question, what personal and professional qualities do you think you would bring to the role?
Well, I can state, you know, I usually refer everything back to Boone County since that's where I've worked. I was assistant prosecutor for about a year in Kanawha County as well before I started in Boone. But I think an open door policy in the prosecutor's office is key. I can state, like I said, from working in Boone County, we get a lot of phone calls. Usually when nobody else in the courthouse or in the community can answer a question, the phone call usually gets referred to our office. I like to think that we try to answer those questions the best we can. A lot of times you have to tell people it may not be the answer you want to hear, but according to the law, this is what the answer is. And even though I believe, even though people may not like the answer that you have to give them, I believe there's a respect there that you took the time to talk to them and give them the answers. Having an open door policy and being open, just having an open office, I think gives it some transparency to the office. And I think the more the community is informed on what's going on in the courthouse, and specifically for me in the prosecutor's office, I think more on board everybody is. And when I say everybody, I'm talking law enforcement and everything. I think law enforcement needs to have a greater role in the prosecutor's office of communication, working out cases, and everything like that. Yet again, in Boone County, one thing that we do have is a great relationship right now. Our state police work well with our sheriff's department, work well with our municipal departments, and all work well with our office. I think if you have everybody on the same team, you get a lot more accomplished and keep everybody happy.
Okay. Our next question. The current prosecuting attorney, Mr. Stevens, decided not to seek re-election this year, having served multiple terms. Should you be elected prosecutor, are there any changes you would make with regard to the running of the office and the carrying out of the duties?
I do know Mr. Stevens. He's been in Boone some, and I've been over here some as a special prosecutor in a couple cases. I can't sit here today and tell you that I know exactly how he runs his office on every day-to-day duty. I think everybody's style is a little bit different. So of course I think even if you ran for it and got it, you'd probably change it to fit your style the same as I would. Now to sit here and say I know exactly how his style of running his office day to day, since I've never been a part of that office, I don't think I could tell you. But I'm a big fan. If something works, as long as it's not broke, don't fix it. Just keep going down that path. And like I said, I think every administration that comes in, there are some changes, just to fit that leadership style. But to give you specifics right now, I don't know.
The Lincoln Journal has reported frequently on the scourge of prescription drug abuse in Lincoln County. In what ways do you think a prosecutor can work to help tackle that problem, a problem that has ruined so many lives in our region? And
it's that problem isn't just a Lincoln County problem. It is definitely a problem all through Appalachia. I wish there was a miracle answer right now that I could tell you that would take care of that problem. Unfortunately, as long as the doctors keep writing the prescriptions, and there are people that legitimately need them, but as long as the doctors keep writing them, there's ultimately no end to it. But I think what you need to do is you need to differentiate. There's users and abusers, and there's dealers, and I definitely think they should be treated different. The dealers bringing the prescription drugs in, the ones that are doctor shopping, come from Huntington, Columbus, Detroit, wherever. A lot of those aren't local people, no local ties. They're here for their business of moving drugs. I have pretty much absolutely no sympathy for those people. They have no ties to this community. All they're doing is bringing negativity and bad things to the area. And then they will distribute those pills to the local people in the area, some of which worked, got hurt, got prescribed those drugs, became addicted to them. Some just for no other reason, no jobs, whatever, have too much free time on their hands, too much free time. A lot of people end up abusing those. Unfortunately, a lot of those people end up getting caught at the point where they are stealing from other people or things of that nature. Now, while I definitely believe that when somebody who's a user who's stealing or whatever to feed their habit, when they get caught, there is usually a victim in that case. Usually somebody's house got broke into, their car got stolen, something like that. My number one priority in that instance is that victim, making sure that victim is made whole. making sure that whatever the end result of that case is, that victim is on board with it. Now that being said, a lot of the end users, the ones in the local community that are just abusing it, I think we need to try to give them an opportunity to get fixed. Like I said, those are people that have ties to the community. They've got family here in the community. Most of them can be productive members of society. So I think we do need to try to fix them. And some of them can be fixed, some of them can't. But I think they need to have that opportunity. But everybody's got to be on board with the ultimate disposition, especially the victims, because although I've never had my house broken into, I just having talked to victims who have, you lose your security, you lose that trust. I mean, your home's your castle, and if somebody breaks into that house, it's easy to say, well, we need to fix the person with the drug problem that broke into it, but you need to make sure that those people whose home was broke into, you can somehow try to fix their security to where they can sleep at night. Ultimately there is no answer, but I do believe we need to try to fix the ones we can, and the ones coming from out of the area need to go away and not come back to Lincoln County. And I think if you send out a good, strong, firm message to out-of-community drug dealers coming in here, that if you come into Lincoln County and sell drugs, law enforcement, the prosecutor's office, everybody here is on the same team, that we're going to do everything that we can to put you away for as long as we can, then we'll do that. And I can state, I've got a pretty good relationship with a lot of our the task force in the area and everything. And we work those cases up, and a lot of times the federal penalties will be worse than what we can offer on the state level. And I'll work with them and give those cases back to those officers or whatever we need to do to get them to the federal courthouse in Charleston, because their penalties are stiffer and we can get them out of the area longer. But ultimately, I wish there was just you could snap your fingers and cure the prescription drugs, but every time I turn around I see another pharmacy opening, so it's unfortunately still going in the wrong direction.
Our final question. Lincoln County is currently in the midst of yet another election abuse scandal. What can a prosecutor do to assist such investigations, and what can he do to ensure that such abuses are not repeated in the future?
Well, I can say that one of the main reasons that I decided to run in Lincoln County is, as I know, I believe we've talked before about, really my ties to Lincoln County are limited. I grew up in Richwood, as you stated earlier, which is Nicholas County, West Virginia, and I worked down in Boone County. One good thing about that is I did not grow up in Lincoln County. I don't have any ties here, no classmates, no family, or anything to play favorites for, to come in and try to do anything which kind of reflects the questions you asked of those abuses or anything like that, which I think puts me in a good position of being an outsider, saying, listen, I'm going to play by the rules. You don't have to worry about that affecting me, because I have not been here and have not been involved in anything like that, and I will not be. And I can tell you, if people think that I would be, if I win this election, I'm going to be a one-term prosecutor, because I'm not going to do that. Okay. Now, as in helping out, any cooperation, like I said, I've got a good working relationship with some of the drug enforcement, like DEA and FBI. Some of those we deal with the task force, and working with the AUSA's office, which is Booth Goodwin and everybody who's heading up that investigation. Always had a good relationship with them. I would hope that would continue. I mean, anything that I could do. I think Lincoln County has so much potential that's not being realized for whatever reason. And yet again, I think a good bit of this comes down to transparency. If the people in Lincoln County knew more about what was going on at the courthouse, if they were informed and kept in the loop and knew exactly what was going on, the better informed you are, I think that the less likely anything like that is to occur again. Ultimately, as a Lincoln County prosecutor, I could guarantee you my office would not be involved in anything or any shape or form of anything that could be even look like it has anything to do with that. But I can guarantee you complete cooperation, you know, if any help in investigation or anything that any other agency would ask of our office.
Good. Okay. Justin Marlowe, thank you very much. That concludes our first interview with one of the candidates for this year's primary elections. Look out for more of our interviews at our website www.lincolnjournal.com. Thank you.